We are live. Good afternoon. It is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you everybody for tuning in. As you all know, we have Eric de Shetler here. Hi, Eric.
Hello.
And Eric is a cybersecurity instructor with Mile 2. And the demonstration that Eric has very kindly put together is learn how to crack SIP authentication and listen to VoIP calls in 15 minutes. So this demonstration is actually part of a class that Eric is teaching on August the 19th, the Ultimate CPTC Penetration Testing Bootcamp, and more on that later. So without further ado, Eric, take it away.
All right. Thanks, Max, for the introduction. Yeah, like you said, the topic today is VoIP. So we're going to cover cracking SIP, which will get you, the password that's used with that VoIP account. And I'm also going to show you how to actually listen to those VoIP calls in Wireshark. So without further ado, let me bring that up. All right. So let me know if hopefully you guys can see that okay. I'm going to
Perfect.
actually use Cool. I'm going to use we're actually going to use Kali Linux. So I'll just open up a command prompt, and there's a couple of tools that we're going to use in Kali. The first tool is SIP dump. All right, so this is what we're going to actually use to dump the credentials and the hashed password from a captured VoIP call. All right, now SIP dump can actually capture those credentials on the wire, or you can read them from a PCAP, which is what we're going to use. Now I'm also using SIP crack. All right, now with SIP crack, we simply supply it with a word list or a password list, and SIP crack will perform a dictionary attack against the hash password and get us those credentials. All right, so let's go ahead and start with SIP dump. All right, so I have my PCAP file. That's the actual recorded VoIP call, and I have my password list. All right, so that's what I need to basically get started. I'm going to run SIP dump. I'll give it the output file, passhash.txt, and the actual capture file. All right, we see that it was able to find, one login. The user account name is bad guy. We've got some IP addresses in there as well. All right, so now I'm going to use SIP crack to actually crack that password or that hash. I give it my word list. Now, of course, this could take several hours depending on how strong the password is. For demonstration purposes, we chose a pretty easy password. So I'm going to go ahead and select the entry. Right now, there's only one conversation, one VoIP call, and one hashed password. All right, so I found the password pretty quickly. The password is 1234. It updates that file, passhash.txt, and now we have the username and password that's used with that VoIP account. So that's basically how easy it is to crack SIP authentication. Now, one of the countermeasures to that would be to use TLS, transport layer security. Right now, we're going to take that same VoIP conversation, that same capture. We're going to open it up in Wireshark. And usually what I like to do is start off with the protocol hierarchy. We see that most of this call or most of this capture file is RTP, and we see the session initiation protocol, that's SIP. Pretty clear indication that this is a VoIP conversation. So we can close that, click on telephony, and then select VoIP calls. All right, from here we see one VoIP call. And now we see the username and the source and the destination. We see that they're using SIP. It is not encrypted, so we can go ahead and play that VoIP call in Wireshark. All right, so Wireshark was able to decode the call. We can just select both sides of the conversation and select play, and that will actually play the call. All right, that's basically it for cracking SIP authentication and listen to the call in Wireshark. It's that easy. That's just one of the exercises that you get in one of the modules in the course. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. There's definitely a lot more that you can do with VoIP. That's just, a couple of examples.
Awesome. I certainly don't want you around when I'm making VoIP calls. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Excellent. So just guys, ladies and gentlemen, post your questions. A couple have already come through, and I just want to remind everybody that we will be sharing this video so that you can play and replay to your heart's content and go over the various steps that Eric shared. So Eric, let me ask you a question came in here. What do hackers do with VoIP accounts once they are compromised?
Well, one of the things that you'll see is that they're going to compromise VoIP accounts, especially for corporations and businesses that use VoIP instead of landline services, and they'll use those VoIP accounts to make long distance calls. All right, so each year, hackers are racking up millions of dollars in long distance calls, and they're using VoIP, in order to get that done. So it's kind of like what they used to do with calling cards or with prepaid calling cards. Well, now that's happening with VoIP.
Okay. Are there any particular industries that this is relevant to? I mean, we've got viewers from who are working in a number of different industries. Are there any particular industries that you would suggest that this skill is particularly important for?
Well, as a pen tester, I'd like to capture VoIP conversations when I'm doing a penetration test. That way, I can show, the corporate management, I can really give them the impact of what I was able to do.
Hmm.
You can show, a CEO a file. You could show them a command prompt. They won't really get it. But if you play them an audio recording of them talking to one of the other vice presidents, and you cut it off just before they say something juicy, that really drives the point home that their networks are not secure.
Sounds like a
So yeah.
that
And,
sounds like a sorry.
oh no, go ahead. Yeah, and also in corporate espionage, a lot of hackers are going to do this because their goal is to get the information, right?
Right.
And yeah, so yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. We are an SME sized company. What is the number one thing my team can do to protect us from VoIP threats?
The number one thing that you can do is make sure you're using secure protocols, right? So SIP by itself is not secure, but you can use SIPS. It's SIP, and that requires that every hop of the conversation be encrypted with TLS. All right. So once you have TLS encryption in place, that makes it a lot more difficult for an attacker to actually be able to listen to those VoIP conversations and get the passwords. Now, in my bootcamp that's coming up, I will also show you how to strip SSL, and other application layer security protocols, and do man-in-the-middle attacks. But that's probably your best bet is to secure your VoIP conversations with some type of encryption.
Awesome. Um, do you have any opinion on BitMessage? It seems very secure.
Bitmessage. If we're thinking about the same thing, you're talking about the instant messaging protocol that's based off of like the Bitcoin hashing algorithms. Yeah, so far I don't think anyone's been able to really prove that it's not secure, and just like Bitcoin has continued to compete as a currency. I think that's going to be another great way to securely transfer messages. So I would definitely keep my eyes on that for sure. It's still in its early stages of development though. It's not really widespread, so the maturity level is not there, but it has a lot of potential.
Awesome. Okay. And in your opinion, are some countries safer than others when it comes to more VoIP?
Well, you know, I don't really think so. I think when it comes to the internet, we don't really follow those land borders. I don't think one country is really more safe. Everything is up for grabs. So yeah, I would say no.
Okay. And we got another one just came in there, right? Um, which technique can use for CPA telephony?
It's
What
not really
technique
sure.
can
Yeah.
what technique can be used for a CPA telephony? We're not clear on that one, right? So this is an offline dictionary attack then. The countermeasure is to use non-dictionary words as your SIP password.
Yes, for anything that is that uses a password to secure it, you want to use strong passwords, obviously. That would definitely at least delay or prevent someone from being able to crack this. So that's correct. We're not actually exploiting like a vulnerability in the SIP protocol. We're cracking the password. Now you might say that one vulnerability is that it uses just a hash password without any type of challenge response or any type of replay protection. That in itself I think is a vulnerability. But that is correct. We're using a dictionary attack against the SIP account.
Okay, I got one more question. I think you touched on it, but I'm going to ask it again here. Is there any way of doing a man-in-the-middle attack on a VoIP encrypted call?
Yes, you can. Just like any type of encryption that uses public key encryption, if you do a man-in-the-middle attack, then the certificates are not going to match exactly, which may or may not present a pop-up to the user. But yep, there's plenty of ways. Some of the ways that I'll show you in the boot camp is to do basically flood the switch cam table so that you can actually sniff packets that are not going to your port, and then also do an ARP spoofing attack so that you can impersonate the destination IP address and conduct that man-in-the-middle attack. We also do layer 2 man-in-the-middle attacks using things like OSPF and hot standby for router protocols. So yep, there's several different ways to do that. And can't really go into them in depth right now, but I could definitely show those at a later time.
Awesome. Okay, so just to go back, so we're going to send everybody who registered for the web show a link which provides a sort of a detailed outline of the CPTC penetration bootcamp on August the 19th, and it's available online. It's a live online training bootcamp that you're offering, correct? In addition
Yes.
to classroom.
Yes, I'll be in Florida teaching it live, but most of the students will be online, and so they'll be watching remotely.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to send everybody additional information on the boot camp. We're going to also send a copy of the recording, a copy of the course manual, and then I believe there are some other goodies that Mile 2 is also including. Exam vouchers, and there's some more videos that they're including. And I also believe that there are a couple of other packages for the CPTE course that Mile 2 offer as well, and we'll be sending those limited time offers immediately, certainly very, very shortly after the web show. So Eric, thank you very, very much for coming on and giving us that awesome demonstration. And I'm sure if people have questions, follow-up questions, and they'd like to reach out to you, can we hook them up? Can we hook you guys up?
Yep, definitely. You guys can feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, or talk to Concise Courses. They'll get you hooked up. And yeah, definitely go back and replay the webinar. Try to follow the steps along in Kali Linux. All of the tools are built in, which is why I use that distribution for the demo. And yeah, look forward to hearing more questions and more demos as well. So thank you,
Awesome.
Max.
Thank you, Eric. You're a superstar.
All right.
Thank you, and have a great rest of your day, sir.
All right, you too. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.